YellowTelescope YellowTelecast, the best practices for the best practices, providing the medical industry's best practices, the medical industry's best practices since 2008. Are you a doctor? Do you work for a doctor? Do you want to earn more, be more efficient, retain your team, hire for success, or just want to have a better lifestyle? I bet you do. What should you expect from the podcast? A lighthearted, casual, fun, hopefully funny, informative, impactful, well-founded look at the medical industry from a pair of passionate, competent, confident, experienced, talented, unquestionably good-looking industry leaders, men of the Renaissance, if you will, and even if you won't, who have hired, trained, and overseen some of the nation's top medical practices while enjoying Scotch whiskey, world travel, music, single malt Scotch whiskey, fine dining, not fine dining, family, art, Ryan bourbon whiskeys, and maintaining an absolutely perfect track record of growing practices by between $100,000 and over $1 million within the first year every damn time. Listen to the podcast, and for more on how Yellow Telescope can help grow your practice, visit YellowTelescope.com for upcoming events, published articles, recorded speeches, past issues of our complimentary email newsletter, testimonials, and more.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah, shall we?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome.
Thank you. Is that to me or our listeners?
Yes, and viewers, for those of you out there in the YouTubes, the podcast land.
Indeed. My name's John.
This is Ed. Welcome to number 5.
Yeah, the Yellow Telescope YellowTelecast, Best Practices for the Best Practices, podcast number 5.
Coming to you live and recorded from the fabulous Aqua Residences here on Allison Island, Miami Beach, Florida, 33141.
Correct. Come
right.
and visit us. We're here all the time.
Literally, most of the time.
We've been here for about a month and a half since getting back from our last podcast.
That's right.
Strange.
Feels nice to be here. A little rainy outside, but only blocks away from the fabulous Fontainebleau Resort.
I'm familiar.
Are you?
Why do you keep referencing it?
Because that was where our first podcast was done, but maybe even more importantly, where our upcoming, highly anticipated annual fall seminar, October 10th and 11th, will be hosted yet again.
It's the flagship event.
It's a flagship event annually.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting. Well, it's nice. It's good to be back. I'm going to try something new today.
Really?
You know, I tend to lean into the microphone where they always have to rebalance our sound over at the studio and make sure that my overbearing tone is made more understated.
It's a bearing tone. More of a tenor myself.
And with that in mind, I'm thinking about, it's a warm summer's day. It's rainy as heck.
Wow.
And so I'm thinking about just taking this right out.
Hey.
Got a nice little microphone holder. And I'm thinking about pretending I'm a professional singer, just holding the mic myself. What do you think?
Hey,
is that
Julio
crazy?
Iglesias. Relax.
That way we could have make the job even harder for the sound people. Just sort of, kind of bring it in and out and in and out and just kind of.
Are we reclining? I'm sort of jealous of your repose.
I feel as though I'm in my most comfortable state I've been in years. The state of Florida.
If I were any more relaxed, I'd be asleep. Period. This is great.
This is nice. I like it a lot.
So
I want to sing, though. I want to do karaoke. I don't know what I want to sing, but it just makes me want to sort of break out in song.
It's fine. I'm going to stick to prose.
Indeed.
Good to be back. A lot going on. We've had a busy summer.
Ugh, man.
It's been sort of a whirlwind.
It's hot.
It's really hot. Today, particularly balmy. We got the rainstorm coming down behind us.
I'm not doing another hot joke. I do on every podcast. It's so hot that I'm not going to lower myself to that level by doing another hot joke.
Can't do it.
Plus, it's not even that hot. It's just sort of more muggy.
Ugh, it's downright balmy.
Yeah, it is. It's downright balmy.
It's so muggy out here. How muggy is it?
Well, it's funny you should ask. I showered, re-showered, put on an entire bottle of shower-to-shower talcum powder, soaking wet.
Still wet.
Hair hasn't been dry since July 17th. I haven't been able to see out of my glasses in months. The point is, it's muggy out here.
Literally, my contacts fogged up.
So this is the rainforest section of the zoo. This is lovely. Where are the chimpanzees with the pink butts?
I believe it's chimpanzees, and they're everywhere. I love this place.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, there's a lot of hot updates happening around here.
That's right.
Yellow Telescope finishing. I wouldn't say we're finishing. We're in the midst of our strongest year ever by far. Strongest 12 months ever. Strongest 3 months ever. Strongest month ever.
It gets stronger.
Just finished filling amazing practice manager and patient coordinator positions in Indianapolis, in Baltimore, in Orange County,
California.
Really coming together. Finding a lot of talent out there. Despite the tougher job market where people are getting jobs quicker, we are finding the best of the best, which is very exciting. The sister company, SE Oversight. I think we referenced it in our last telecast from Las Vegas. Fabulous,
Las Vegas, Nevada.
That was a great broadcast, by the way, from the Cosmopolitan. If you haven't listened, go back and listen to that podcast. This is going to be terrible, but the last one, superbulous, ridiculous.
Literally, I'm not even here. I'm phoning it in.
Not even questionable, but literally redonky. And in any case, SE Oversight launched at that meeting. We averaged signing a brand new client literally every day for the better part of 2 weeks.
Yep.
You might be wondering where our new client's at, because we're based here in sunny Miami, a little bit in New York, but mostly here in Miami.
Sometimes not so sunny Miami.
Correct. Sometimes downright balmy and muggy Miami, but we have new clients all over the place. For example, Boca Raton.
Or Boca Raton.
Yes. Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
New York City, perhaps you've heard of it.
Nueva York.
Boca Raton. That's
Also,
a different Boca Raton client.
That's right. One's in Boca Raton, the other client's in Boca Raton.
Correct. New Jersey. It's sort of like not New York.
Mm-hmm.
South Carolina.
Oh, sure.
Rochester. Also Boca Raton.
Also Boca Raton
That's
as
actually
well.
a third client, Boca Raton. And I will also tell you this. How about Australia?
That's right.
Yep, new client in Australia, which is very exciting. So we're now international, sort of a prestige worldwide, if you will. And really, even if you won't.
Even if you won't.
But yeah, we're Boca, 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 and Boca.
That's right. A lot of Boca on there.
Quite.
It's interesting. Why is that?
Well, it's hard to say, why these web companies aren't doing a great job for their Boca Raton clients, or the ones who are doing a decent job aren't getting the results that we hope for them to get.
Challenges in Boca.
A lot.
Apparently.
I mean, well, first of all, it's Boca Raton, so they probably can't get any work done at all because they're complaining the whole time.
Not to mention they're all snowbirds. It's completely seasonal work.
Yeah, it's 6 months a year. You can't get website done 6 months a year, and
No,
that's how Boca
that's
Raton
it.
works.
They only work between Thanksgiving and Easter. That's it.
Essentially correct. And a lot of times the web development companies don't speak New York, which you have to speak to be in Boca Raton.
That's right. Not to manage, they all work out of the meeting room at the clubhouse. And there's constant mahjong tournaments that they have to compete with for time
Del
slots.
Boca Vista Mahjong 2014. I don't understand why they don't have more hors d'oeuvres. You're hungry. You want to have something.
I need
a little
nosh.
something.
I need a little nosh.
A little knishtanash.
A knish.
And now we've proven that you're not Jewish.
That's all right, though.
He said knishtanash.
Knosh?
It's a knishtanash.
A knishanosh.
If you were a tribesman, you'd understand exactly how to say it right.
I'd like to think I'm honorary MOT.
Look, and I appreciate the honey-baked ham you gave me a slice of, because that is unbelievable.
I may not be able to serve up a honey-baked ham, but at least I can serve a little grace and civility at the dinner table. Never gets old. Thank you, Family Guy.
Well, it is. It's hard to do web development for a city that's named after a rat's mouth. It's just intimidating. It's intimidating. But we don't know why. We got a lot of Boca Raton clients.
Right.
Rochester, New York, to Australia, to California. We really are all over the place. But we're excited to keep building that business, which has just been so there's a true need, to oversee web presence and ensure things are really going well. Bear in mind, I know we're about to, we already opened, but we're about to sip our scotch for the day. But what's the educational value? What's the topic for today that's going to help doctors, practice managers, patient coordinators, treatment coordinators, business people, owners, and medical staff in general be able to grow their practices to unseen levels?
Things that we find a lot of practices need, a lot of the small businesses that we work with, which again are inherently 100% cosmetic and general cash-based medical practices. Leadership. It's something that's a little bit challenging. In many, many cases, you're the physician, you're the doctor, you're the practice owner, and you're also the product in many ways. You're actually performing procedures, you're treating patients. How are you also going to be running that same business? Now, of course, we have our practice managers, our patient care coordinators, and other staff that are going to be responsible for really taking on a lot of the onus of that role. So we figured for both the doctor, the physician, the practice owner, the manager, what are some tips for truly authentic leadership? Not just, things you can do and jot down and implement just because it might look good on paper, but authentically are actually going to be appreciated or even appreciated by the staff.
I have two comments.
Yeah.
One, you're talking about authenticity. In other words, this is not some Tex-Mex thing.
Right.
We're looking for the actual quality tamale, if you will.
Right. I don't want this Americanized Chinese food. I want street food in the middle of Beijing.
Yes, I love it. And secondarily, if a boat flows by, I will christen it. I'm going to throw the bottle at it and be like, you have been christened the leadership. Just got to wait a little bit. The gate goes up every 30 minutes to let boats through, so I think that could be fun. We'll probably go to jail, but at least we have it on camera. We had nothing but good intentions. A boat clearly can handle a glass bottle breaking against it. Otherwise, every ship would go Titanic style.
That's exactly
so
right.
it can't really. There's no. You have to prove damages. My wife told me. If there's no damages, then you really can't lose in court.
No,
This is my theory.
And the intention was absolutely pure.
Correct. So yeah, I'm excited about the leadership topic today, and these are going to be tangible tips, things you can actually implement in your practice, in your business, in your hospital today, if not tomorrow, and possibly the day after, but not the day after that, because that's probably Sunday. You want to take that day off, but maybe the day after that in your practice. But first, I think we should talk a little scotch.
It looks like a yellow telescotch.
It does. That's why we selected this one. So it's the second time in our 5 podcasts that the Bruichladdich, spelled Bruichladdich, for those of you guys watching. For those of you guys listening, why is John having a seizure? But in any case, the Bruichladdich, Isla Barley, Rockside Farm, 2007. This is a great, reasonably priced scotch. We wanted to take it down a level, maybe 2 levels, because we are going way, way up for the next podcast. So the next 2, we've already pre-purchased the Bunnahabhain 22, which is going to be superb. Another repeat of a brand we've used before. Considering there's like 500 brands, we really need to change it up, but this was just too good to pass up. So a little bit hard to find. It's a limited edition scotch. Got the nice yellow canister. That's how you can know it.
Yep.
This was created in about 2006, bottled in 2007. So we're only looking at a 6 or 7 year old Scotch whiskey made in Islay. And I haven't really tried it. I have tried it, but I haven't really paid attention to it. But definitely the claim to fame with this is the 100% use of barley from a specific farm in Islay, which should give it some really sort of grainy, barley-ish notes, I guess you'd say.
Yep.
Probably a little younger, probably going to have a little bite to it.
Right.
And it's unpeated, which is extremely rare for Islay, where you get your smoky Lagavulins, your Laphroaigs, which I know you just enjoyed and completed.
Just completed and actually sampled just last evening. Had a friend in town sort of revisiting and took the last redram of the Laphroaig 18 that one John Hoffenberg gave me as a gift for my very, very own birthday. It was fantastic.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I appreciate you finishing the entire bottle without giving me a dram.
Hey,
that is friendship and business partnership.
Many invitations snubbed. I consider myself snubbed.
Look, I've got a baby. I can't always make it. And the kid, he doesn't drink as much as he used to. He's getting older. He's got a maturity to him. It's a hard tea.
You know, it tastes a little bit like Rockside Farm barley.
Well, that is correct. Well, in any case, pick up a bottle. It's very good. You really can't go wrong with anything with the Bruichladdich name on the side of it. One of my favorite modern Hebridean distilleries. It is the only one, but there's only 8 distilleries on the whole island. And for those of you guys who like high-quality whiskey but also don't want something too peaty, this is a good option for you. And it's got a very distinctive taste, unlike anything I've really had. It's got that, I guess it's barley that we're tasting, which they certainly point out.
Distinctly. Like
I've never had a scotch in a monsoon while recording a podcast.
I feel like I'm in a tour bus in Rangoon.
So this is so this is Malaysia.
That's right.
It's actually pronounced Malaysia. By the way, 45 minutes from now, completely dry, we'll be out at the pool, sunning our beautiful bodies.
It's going to be great. It's literally not raining on the other side of the intercoastal behind us.
That's right. The other side of the intercoastal behind us is the ocean. We're a block off.
It's sort of like Charlie Brown with a single rain cloud following us. It's fine.
So I want to be taught how to be an authentic leader, which I assume is an oxymoron. You can't be taught how to be an authentic leader. But I know that we have 5 tips today to walk through on authentic leadership, and not just sort of rah-rah concepts of how to be motivated and how to act like a leader, but what specific tasks and tools can we bring back to our practices that can impact the bottom line, impact employee retention, and really grow the practice while improving the quality of life for ourselves and our people. So where should we begin? You want to kick it off? You want me to kick it off?
Sure,
I don't have anything. I'm going to be making it all up as we go.
That's fine. It's all on the fly.
What? I have no idea what to say. I'm kidding. We've planned it all out. We've thought it all out. We've even role-played it. sort of a witty repartee, and we're ready to execute.
A lot of banter.
That's authentic leadership right there.
That's right.
Preparation, tip number 1.
So some of it's pretty basic.
So 5
Some
tips.
are gonna
5.
be
There's going to be 5, right?
5 might be 7. Might be a baker's
5.
dozen.
Anything over 5, or it has to be 3 or
Odd
5.
numbers until you get to
or
10. 3, 5, or 10. It's
or
pretty
100.
standard.
I want it to be like a VH1 special.
That's right. Top 100 tips. It's actually it's going to be a 7-hour podcast. So buckle your seatbelts.
All right, so let's talk about it. How do we lead authentically?
Well, a lot of it actually sounds pretty basic, but some of this is going to be reminders for some people. Some of it could be as basic as something genuine where not necessarily one time a year or on a special occasion or a holiday, but when was the last time you, just to say thanks for a job well done, jotted down a little written note?
Well, I send you a card every year for Christmas.
Which is sweet of you.
You're welcome.
But with that said, it's insensitive of you. No, of course, that's wonderful, but what about that time I got you the little Jaguar poster?
That melted my heart.
See?
I get it. So what you're saying is that most doctors and most business owners don't take time to actually write a personal written note in this day of technology. And when they do so, it tends to be for a reason that's expected. Hey, it's your birthday. Hey, it's Christmas time. Hey, it's the holidays. You know, hey, thanks for all you do and have a great year, which is nice. Should that not be done? Should I not send a Christmas note to you?
No, absolutely. Continue doing the basics, the expected things to do. However, when was the last time you wrote a note as a doctor or a physician to your nurse after you got a particular compliment about how great they were? You just wrote a little note, left it on their desk or their locker, or wherever they put their things when they arrive to the office, just saying, hey, patient Susie Q said you did a great job, nice work, you're very much appreciated, keep it up.
Well, that'd be nice. I'd love to get some recognition for what I do, Ed.
I enjoy positive reinforcement as well, John.
You're doing a fair job. Sincerely, John. You are really showing us what the middle of the pack looks like.
Congratulations on your B- work.
Which is technically an 80% and better than 79% of other participants.
That's true.
Yeah, well, it really is true, and not to get too serious, and I'm going to cry. It's probably going to be a lot of tears here, but it really speaks volumes of a leader when they not only write a handwritten note, but do it for a genuine purpose. And so trying to teach people to be authentic, I've always said, is something challenging. You're either authentic or inauthentic, but we all have an authenticity to us. We all have things that we enjoy. We all have activities, belief systems, goals, principles at work that we really believe in. And when you see someone doing right, you got to catch them. And that's something I learned or stole from some book that said, catch people doing something right. And when you see that, find a way to write a short note, and it can be in a Sharpie on a little piece of paper. It doesn't have to be fancy on letterhead. Finding a small gift, finding something the person's interested in. So Ed is a thoughtful guy. Not only that, he's got a great design eye. He moonlights if you want him to redesign your home. It's very expensive, $1 million a home, but he'll do it for you. And something that Ed does is every time I buy or lease a new car, I usually purchase these days, he gets me a very interesting vintage, high-quality print or lithograph or poster, which we then frame, and it kind of goes into my sort of pseudo man room. And it really means a lot to me that he actually thinks about it. And it's something that both meets his interests, which shows his authenticity, where he likes going to these places and finding these vintagey things. And then secondarily, it's something that's meaningful to me, and it really speaks volumes. Now, for me getting him a vintage poster isn't really authentic, but for me, I like to catch him doing things I believe in. Amazing sales results. Buying him a bottle of scotch that I really, really have loved and I know he'd appreciate shows that I care for him. So that's, I hope, a really good tip, which is catch people doing right, and make sure you write them an actual handwritten note when it's not their birthday, not Christmas time, not their anniversary of work, but just for the hell of it. I think it's a great tip.
Yeah.
A second tip that we can kind of talk a little bit about is spending time off-site. So, for example, I literally force Ed to make podcasts with me.
That's it.
So that's how we build the relationship here. No, it's not a forced thing, but it's something we enjoy. Teaching people, spending time outdoors, having a nice wee dram, and just doing something fun like this, for me, is something that Ed and I find time to do. Sometimes we go out together. Sometimes we play a round of golf. Neither of us are avid golfers, so we're perfect teammates because we both shoot about 150 on the front nine, and then we kind of go onto the back nine and give up halfway through and just have a scotch. But we are consistent in finding things that we really both find value in. Concerts. We went to Bonnaroo a couple years ago.
Right.
We maybe go to Coachella next year because we're hanging on to our coolness despite being too old to be there.
Gotta watch out.
Who knows what's possible? What are your thoughts on this? Anything to add to the off-site time?
I think a lot of it also has to do, again, back to the authenticity. It's one thing to say people like to golf, and that's a good thing to do in order to build rapport with your team. Well, just because somebody said that golfing's great doesn't mean that's what you should do. It goes back to saying find something that you really enjoy yourself. You know, if you're an avid bowler, get the team out to the alleys. You know, let's put that together. If you decide...
It's okay if they don't love what you do, but it shows that you're letting them into your world a little bit.
Exactly. You're a boater, get them out on the water.
Something you've done for us is, and I do this a little bit myself, you and I really see eye to eye on a lot. You had people over to your apartment, which is a gorgeously well-designed apartment overlooking all of the water from, I don't know what floor, the 700th floor of the building you live in, and just having people over and entertaining or having a barbecue or eating some nice food, that's something that you enjoy, and it doesn't matter if everybody loves it. The key is that you're letting your team, your people, the people you lead, into your world.
Well, I think that it also it shows a little humanizing side to things. Maybe tip number 3 might be being a little self-deprecating sometimes.
I'm perfect, and you know it, and I don't like the contention or suggestion of anything otherwise, and if you say anything different, I'll fire you.
I heard a little sarcasm in there. I loved it.
Oh no, dead serious.
No, dead serious. You're going to karaoke? Are you a novice singer? Are you the next Julio Iglesias?
That's the one you went with, huh? Not Enrique.
Oh no, throwback. He's the senior.
He's the real answer. Would Enrique be famous without Julio? Here in Miami, the answer is absolutely.
Of course, he's just Anna Kournikovas' boyfriend around here.
Oh, correct.
But,
that's correct. Come to the Sony Ericsson Open.
No, but let's say you're a karaoke fanatic, and you decide you want to take the team out, really exercise the pipes. Well, get up there. Or say maybe it's your head nurse, it's her birthday, and you decide, you know what, we're going to take Mary and the team out to really celebrate. I hate getting up there, though. I just get stage fright.
Yeah.
Dive up there.
Yeah.
Me. I hate it. Just dive in. Right ahead of the pack.
Well, that was a hefty pour, my friend.
Yeah, sorry. I really got ahead of myself there. Early in the
Do not let us have a 6th podcast if we finish that.
Nope.
Well, I mean, you're correct. And the key is I call it RBTF, which was taught to me by the great Scott Dennis and Amar DeVay of our former jobs, in case they ever listen to one of our podcasts. You just got a shout-out.
Hey. Hashtag
And
shout-out.
I don't know where they stole it from, probably a book. Maybe I've read the book, I can't remember. But again, we call it RBTF, which is risk being the fool. Now, that doesn't mean that you go out with your people and get drunk. And it doesn't mean, in as much as we promote, having a tasty dram, what's great about scotch is it's very hard to become an alcoholic because it's just too expensive.
That's right.
And it's just too strong. So you sip on it. But, you hold yourselves together. It's not about being ridiculous or being a fool, but you risk being the fool. So we had an annual event last year. And one of the doctors we worked with had an event at sort of a country-style place. And they had a mechanical bull. And it was exciting to see the management be able to get on the bull and ride it. And they, of course, got thrown off in a few seconds. And that really rung true and was authentic from them that they want to have a little fun, too. And their people will remember that. And we have photos. And it's a great thing. They risked being the fool. And people said, you know what? They're real people. And when people trust in you, and this is a key concept, really, of this talk, what creates authentic leadership, in my humble opinion, is the ability for the people that you lead to be able to look at you and say, no matter what they do, right or wrong, and we all make mistakes and we all have successes, they have the right intentions. They have proper intent. And by being a real person, and whether it's off-site time, handing some written notes out, being occasionally self-deprecating and risking being the fool, these kinds of tips and these kinds of things really show your team that you're real. Again, doesn't mean being unprofessional. It doesn't mean partying all night with your team. But we can find tips like this. Do we have any more? I know we had 5. We're on to number 3. And then what's number 4?
Number 4 would be get angry, but twice a year.
Hit your people.
That's right. Straighten the kisser.
Oh, yeah. A nice uppercut to the jaw of an employee is always a smart choice. I am married to an employment defense attorney.
I would say even just like a really, really firm, open-handed, palmed high five.
A love touch.
That's right.
No love touches either, by the way. That's a word to the wise.
That's word to the wise. Trust us. No.
Marry someone outside your business.
Get angry, but twice a year.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, it's okay to selectively find the time to actually be firm and actually upset about something. Don't go around throwing sandwiches at your people because they missed a phone call. But with that said, pick your certain times in the year where you can actually be a little open and upset about something.
So you're saying that on occasion, in other words, we're saying twice a year, but whether it's one time or 3 times a year, once in a great while, it's fair to be angry. People make mistakes, and you have every right as a business owner or a practice manager, for that matter, as an employee, to have some anger and to admit that as an authentic individual, as a human being, there are things in business, there are things in life that are going to frustrate us. And the key is to share that in a way that is potentially angry, but is fair and reasonable. Mm-hmm. And a couple tips on that. One is you share that feedback one-on-one. Very rarely is a team responsible for a mistake. And so when you get in front of your team and you say, everybody's failing and sales are down, the reality is at least 1 or 2 people in that group are doing really well and their sales are up. Someone else is causing it. Some other factors outside their control are doing it. Or at least they'll feel that way, even if it is something they specifically have done. So to be able to address things in a manner where you admit that you are frustrated and you are angry and you won't accept that result, but you do it in a face-to-face fashion, one-on-one, and you try to be reasonable and fair is good. A second tip is before I express that anger, I want to hear the other side. I might say, for example, and this actually happened to me this week, we had our executive administrators. I gave them a task to look up some yachts for our upcoming YellowTelescope training seminar. We're deciding between an uber high-end seafood and fish bar for dinner and going out on a yacht. And I had asked for the research to be done as soon as possible, which is unfortunately my mistake in not being more specific. And within 4 days, they hadn't replied. And so I sent a somewhat angry message saying, I don't understand why we don't have this information. What is going on? Gosh darn it. And they replied back to me and said, it's actually only been 48 hours, and we've left messages with all of them, and we haven't heard back. So what else could we do? And unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, they're 100% correct. Mm-hmm. Guess who's wrong? Rhymes with his guy.
You're kidding me.
Yep, 100% me. Just poor management. So I like to teach people while also being terrible at my job.
It's fine. Listen, do as I say, not as I do.
Do as I do and say, but not as I've once done and shall do while doing.
Yet again.
Or in the past. So we get the concept, which is give people a chance to tell their side, because if I had said, hey, what's the update? They would have said, hey, it's only been 48 hours, here's the update. I would have avoided looking like a dum-dum, which I do 2 or 3 times a year.
That's right.
And so I have to say, look, girls, I'm sorry, and 100% my fault. I imagine time passing that didn't. You're right, I'm wrong. And again, that's authenticity too, which is being self-deprecating, admitting fault. But had I simply said, look, I'm going to get angry, but I'm going to hear their side first, I'm going to address it one-on-one instead of in a group, we're much more likely to get progress, because it's inauthentic to not ever be frustrated, not have challenges.
It almost kind of makes you think, if you're one of those physicians or managers that really does tend to get, a little terse, a little angry, a little bit more often than usual. Maybe you're known for being the meanie in the office or a real tough guy. Maybe one way to soften up is say,
hey, we're talking to you.
You heard us. If you find yourself sort of, rising up, blood
a lot of turnover,
rising, then all of a sudden you say, well, if I'm going to allot myself twice a month or 3 times a year or whatever the frequency is that you think might be fair, that's somewhat less than what you're already doing.
Let's create a protocol.
Start thinking to yourself, is this the time? Do I want to waste my get angry free card on this exact moment? Or do I want to save it for something else that maybe is a little bit more important, where I can even teach a little bit of a lesson to the staff? Something to think about.
I love it. I love it. So we got 4 tips done.
That's right.
When you never have 4 tips for anything, so we've got a 5th tip.
Nope.
Well, what about the 5th tip?
Nope.
Well, look, 3 tips is good, 5 tips is good, 10 tips is good, but you're not going to pick out 4 or like the top 6 tips.
Aren't we?
We might.
We may.
This may have led to
The monthly nope.
The monthly nope is that we actually have 4 tips. We're not just going to feed you information out there
Nope.
in telecast land
Nope.
to prove that we have 5 tips. We had 4 tips. They're good, so just use them.
That's it.
It's hard enough to implement 2 or 3, for goodness sake.
What else do you need? 5, a baker's dozen, an even 13.
That's fantastic. Well,
Nobody
I'm
has
excited.
it.
We're wrapping up fairly soon, but I assume we want to run through a couple of interesting medical news items, make some updates, and then get the heck out of here.
Do you consider yourself sort of an equestrian?
No.
Great. We're out. It's been a great podcast. How about this? Apparently in Hawaii, hospital spokeswoman, this is according to, by the way, the Associated Press, might have heard of them, small outfit. Hospital spokeswoman Lani Yukamura says a drunken man brought his horse, to visit an ailing relative earlier this month, thinking that it would cheer up the patient.
To visit an alien relative?
Alien.
Oh, an ailing relative. I'm like, there's a lot going on. Forget the horse for a second. The weirder thing is, well, Nanu from Mars is here.
That's right.
So we brought him a horse. So I'm sorry,
right.
an ailing relative. Okay.
Literally, at one point, security managed to get the man and the horse eventually out. But, of course, this was after he'd already taken the horse and rode up the elevator to the 3rd floor where he was met by security personnel.
As always, I have so many thoughts and questions.
Go on.
My first question is this. If someone says, may I bring my horse into this hospital, my answer would be, nay, nay, nay. You're welcome, everybody.
There it is.
Thank
We're
you.
out. In sales, actually, I would call this the assumptive close. He said, he's not even asking. He's just going to walk right in there with the horse and just say, well, I'm just going to do this till they tell me no.
Don't they get the hospital sticker? Like, do they take a photo of the horse first and just sort of, here's your sticker, Mr. Ed,
That's right. Get it.
Mr. Ed.
It's really
Because
come
that's
full
your name.
circle.
Because that's your name.
That was the horse, a horse,
Wait,
of
I feel like
course,
you get a
of course.
sticker. So what's amazing is this. My thought is this. If you can get a horse through a hospital door and into an elevator, then it should be allowed. Because that's your fault at that point.
That's right.
That's not my fault. Look, if
No.
this is my theory on being shot by someone over 85. If someone 85 or older wants you dead, and they track you down, and they're fast enough to shoot you, you probably deserve to be shot. There should be no laws for an 85-year-old.
That's it. Free reign.
90-year-old, definitely no laws. And 100 years old, I mean,
Come on.
look,
Have a little fun.
There's got to be something going on there where you deserve to be shot. 50, they can catch you. 60, they can catch you. 20, they'll definitely get you. Anyway.
Where are the rules?
That's a wild story. So literally, he got exited from the hospital after getting into the elevator with a horse.
That's right, because apparently the hospital has pet visitation policy, but that's specifically only for cats and dogs. No horses. There was
discrimination right there.
Later a protest, that's right, discriminating. The equestrian community was perturbed.
What else you got?
Surgeons remove a healthy kidney through the donor's vagina.
What?
That's correct. That's right. She literally gave birth to a kid. Knee. Had to.
Wow.
That's right.
The advancements in science.
That's right. This is...
Wait, so they removed a kidney or they installed a kidney?
They removed the kidney. CNN, quoting here, CNNhealth.com, the kidney was successfully removed and transplanted into the donor's niece. Both patients are doing fine. Now...
Did they clean it first?
This was... I'm sure it was put straight through the sterility device.
I'm sure.
That's a scientific term. The surgery is considered less invasive, could pave the way for an increase in organ donations.
Well,
That's right. Now
I'm
that
not
I know,
sure that's going to pave the way for organ donations.
Now, here's what's interesting, and this may be gender specific.
I wasn't going to donate my kidney before. Well, bear in mind, that may increase the donation. Holy shnikes. Wow. Well, that is a moment that was captured.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, when we're famous in Neverland, when we have
Bloopers.
17 billion YouTube views, there's going to be like, watch 37 minutes and 18 seconds into the YellowTelescope YellowTelecast and watch John pop. Because for those of you guys that heard that thunder and lightning, I'm fairly confident we almost just died.
My third medical story.
Holy cow.
The nation's top practice consultants electrocuted.
I really hope not.
Unbelievable.
We're too valuable to doctors to be killed, I hope, because
I hope.
every single practice I've ever worked with has grown by 100,000 to 1.25 million in the very first year, so I don't know why anyone would kill us.
That's right.
Especially by lightning while taping a podcast.
Oh, the irony.
It's silly. So wait a second. Back to what the heck were we talking about?
So apparently, removing the kidney through a natural opening should hasten the patient's recovery and provide a better cosmetic result.
That is a nebulous term.
Right.
A natural opening.
I have to ask,
So,
as
John,
a man,
Yeah. Well, first of all, for a woman,
sure.
ladies, we'll be taking the kidney out of your throat because it's a natural opening. Don't worry. Unless something goes wrong, you'll breathe just fine.
It's going to be fine.
And yes, I think I know what you're onto with the men.
Well, somebody says, it's okay. We're just going to remove the kidney through a natural opening. I've got concerns. I've got concerns. That's all I can say.
Well, it rhymes with not my ethra, but I think we should use urethra.
I bet you do. You're
that
such
does
a
not
giver.
sound good at
You're
all.
such a giver. By the way, a kidney weighs approximately 1 pound. It's roughly the size of a clenched hand, otherwise known as a fist. What they say.
I don't even think we're going to go down that path at all.
We certainly aren't. It's good to take sterilization measures, said Dr. Jihad Kauk, director of laparoscopic and robotic surgery at the Cleveland Clinic, but the tube and bag touch the tube, and the bag touch the kidney. It's just like a whole connection here. You can read it on CNNHealth.com.
I can't wait.
That's it.
I'm going to really peruse the article in
gonna be great.
detail. It's pronounced detail. Well, I got to tell you, Ed, wrapping up, it's been a great summer. Traditionally, the somewhat slower time for physicians,
The doldrums,
unless you're an
if you
orthodontist
will.
or a rhinoplasty surgeon, in which case, congratulations on getting through it here at the end of August. You've been busy as heck with all those students, but by and large, a slower time, but for us, very busy. We finished our busy month of June, going to New York, going to Vegas, having all those meetings completed. We have a little respite right here before October 10th and 11th.
We're sort of betwixt busy seasons.
That is correct.
Right.
Between our between now and our October 10th and 11th, a Yellow Telescope Yellow training seminar, Yellow Teleseminar.
YellowTelescope
It's our flagship
YellowTeleseminar.
event. We have more people signed up than any year in the past. By far, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really going to be still an intimate environment, but we've got people flying in from all over the United States and Canada to attend that event. We just can't wait to see everybody. We're hard at work planning out breakfast, lunches, snack breaks, and dinners, oceanfront balcony suites
cocktail
for every
receptions.
attendee, the cocktail reception, materials, great information, and we literally guarantee it. If people come to the event, it's not the best event they've ever been to in their entire life, ever. They don't go back to their practice and grow and sell more and do better. We'll give them all the money back, so we've got to deliver. Last
Really,
year,
though?
last
Really?
year, ranked a 9.71 out of 10 by anonymous reviewers. You can read over 100 testimonials on YellowTelescope.com
Read 'em.
from big-time names, big-time players in a big-time game, the LeBron Jameses of medicine.
Except classier.
Sorry to see you go, LeBron. We miss you. Come back soon. It's very exciting. Well, I don't know about you. I'm heading to the Marlins game tonight. I'm having a big hot dog at the Clevelander at the
Florida
Marlins, taking the
Marlins.
wife and the in-laws. It's going to be great. Going to have possibly another scotch, possibly a tasty chili cheese covered tater tot because I went to the gym 4 times this week. Just look, you guys on YouTube.
Svelte.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. Lean.
I'm married.
It's
You're
like
out of luck.
like
It's
a
too
teenage
late.
Self.
Too late.
Sorry,
But
ladies.
this guy's single.
Hey.
Single and ready to mingle.
That's right. Look
Mingle
me
and
up.
ready to single.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, this
Anyway.
guy, he's too classy for Tinder, but you wish he was on Tinder. This guy could be available. He's
Still time.
a low-key guy.
Is he tan? No. Blushing. Thank you. We got to get out of here, John. It's
I
too
think
hot
it's been
for my
enough.
taste.
I'm too hot to touch. I'm too hot to touch.
Tune in
Anything else
next
to get-
time. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to our fan. I think there's at least 1 subscriber.
We have hundreds of groupies and probably thousands of listeners, but we'd
That's
like
right.
it to be thousands of groupies and millions of listeners.
They're just lightening a verse. That's why
yeah,
they're
I mean,
not
it's basically it goes, at this time, for those guys listening to this in like 7 years in the future, it goes Ariana Grande, Iggy Azalea, Afrojack, Yellow Telescope, Paul McCartney, Led Zeppelin, which just came out on Spotify, and then everybody else.
here. That's about where we land. Just above Paul McCartney. What a way to go out. Right on top at number 4.
This has been great. Stay tuned for the next Yellow Telescope YellowTelecast. Tell all your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to this so you get notification when the next one comes out in a few weeks. Please forward this to your friends. Post it on Facebook, Twitter, and all other social media like Vine and Snapchat. I don't even think you can do that, but I think you should if you can. If there's
Pinterest?
some social media
Dribble?
you can post this on, just do it.
I saw Dribble today.
And rate us highly, because by getting more ratings, we get more visitors, and you help us to be listened to more often. And my wife is sick of listening to me, and his ex-girlfriend's clearly sick of listening to him, or they'd still be dating.
No longer.
So we need someone to listen to us, and we hope that you will help us help you grow your practices by millions of dollars.
Cheers.
Have a great night, everybody.
Until next time.
Great day, great morning. Goodbye. For the first time, I didn't black out in the middle of that. That was great.
Actually,
Totally lucid.
Totally calm.
Wow, that was lightning. That was scary as... Wow, we almost died.
Somebody lost an eye.
I hope everybody appreciates the things we put in for them. Because if we didn't have this level of commitment, we wouldn't be risking our lives.
What else would we have?
It's fantastic. I'm going to stop the audio right now.
Okay.
Drop it.